I'll just start by, just introducing everyone. I hope, please, wherever I get the name was wrong, please help me. This is just spontaneous. I'm just trying to make this happen so that we just kick off. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
100%.
All right.
Yes, sir.
I mean, it's amazing to be with this wonderful voice talents from all over Africa, man. This is the place you should be. If you're not here, send the link to somebody, tell them this is where you should be. The YouTube link, just tell them this is where you should be. All right. I'll start with introducing Nadine Khalid from Egypt, founder and managing director of Evolution, territory controller of Gravy for the Brain Arabia. Nadine Khalid is the founder and managing director of Evolution, a leading voiceover production company in the Middle East. He's the territory controller of Gravy for the Brain Arabia, an international franchise that aims to raise investments in the voiceover industry and shape voiceover careers to benefit market growth. With over a decade of experience in the industry, Nadine has established himself as a prominent figure in the Arabic voiceover landscape, lending his distinctive voice to numerous TV, radio, and social media campaigns. Driven by passion for creativity and innovation, Nadine is committed to nurturing the next generation of voiceover artists in the region. Ladies and gentlemen, Nadine Khalid. A round of applause, guys. Let me see the comments. A round of applause. Yeah. Now we also have Charlene Magwueni-Furusa. Am I correct? Charlene, am I correct? All right. Charlene is an actor, broadcaster, and voiceover artist. Charlene has had a distinguished career in both performance and voice acting, with numerous accolades, including the 2018 NAMA Outstanding Theatre Actress for The Incident and the 2019 Bulawayo Arts Award, Outstanding Theatre Actress for Ukama or Ukama. I hope I didn't murder that. She has also won the 2017 Alpha Media Holdings 100 Great Zimbabweans Award in the media and film category, and the 2023 Ladies in Media African Female Voice Artist of the Year. Ladies and gentlemen, Charlene Magwueni-Furusa from Zimbabwe, yes. Let me see your hands, come on, a round of applause. All right, Kamiza Chikula from Zambia. Kamiza, am I correct?
100%.
Oh, fantastic. Come on, guys. Encourage me, guys. Encourage me.
You're the man.
All right. Guys, okay. Kamiza Chikula is a versatile voiceover artist and coach from Zambia with a rich and captivating voice. I could hear that already. I mean, from the ads, I could hear that. Kamiza has lent his talents to a diverse range of projects, including radio and television commercials, corporate videos, and audiobook narrations. As a passionate advocate for voiceover industry in Africa, Kamiza has been actively involved in mentoring and training aspiring voiceover artists, sharing his expertise and insights to help them develop their skills and reach new heights in their careers. Kamiza's dedication to elevating the voiceover profession and fostering a thriving creative community in Zambia has made him a respected figure in the industry. Ladies and gentlemen, Kamiza Chikula from Zambia. All right, let me see your hands. Yeah, all right. Kwesi Busia, am I correct? All right. Oh, well, some people say Kwesi Busia or Kwesi Busia. Okay, Kwesi, let me put it at Kwesi like the Ghanaians will call it. Kwesi is a British Ghanaian voiceover artist, coach, and speed and drama coach. Born and raised in the United Kingdom, Kwesi was exposed to the performing arts from a young age and has since honed his skills in speech, drama, and singing. As a full-time professional voiceover artist, Kwesi has lent his voice to a wide range of projects, from corporate videos and audiobooks to video games and animated series. Kwesi's expertise extends beyond voiceover, as he also specializes in coaching aspiring artists in the areas of speed and drama, helping them develop their performance skills and develop captivating deliveries. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Kwesi Busala. All right, Kwesi Busala. Kwesi. Yeah. Wakio Mzenge. Yes, that's my friend. Yeah. All right. Screen, stage, and voice actor, film and theater director. Wakio Mzenge is a renowned voiceover artist and coach from Kenya with a career spanning over a decade. Wakio has lent her versatile and captivating voice to numerous projects, including television commercials, corporate videos, and audiobook narrations. Passionate about sharing her knowledge and experience, Wakio has dedicated her time to teaching performance skills and hosting masterclass sessions at KCA University and the Voice Actors League of Kenya, VALC. She was also a speaker at the 2022 Virtual Voiceover Conference, where she discussed the use of Swahili as a language of business in the voiceover industry. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Wakio Mzenge. All right. Let me see your, where are your hands? Where are your hands? Yeah, come on. All right. And then, of course, the last but not the least, but now I'm now the host, right? My name is Shobo, and of course, they call me the brand master from time to time. And I founded the Voiceover Academy and the Voiceover Bank. And then, yeah, won a few awards here and there. So, yeah, welcome me as well. Please welcome me. Yeah, my humble self. No need to read all of that, all right? Okay, let's start this beautiful panel. And I would just start by just asking, I'll start by asking a question, right? What exactly inspired you to pursue a career in the voiceover industry? Can you hear me? If you can hear me, please let me see your hands. If you can hear me, I'm sorry. Yes, all right. So I would start by asking Nadine and of course Charlene. Yes, I would start by asking both of you guys, what exactly inspired you to pursue a career in voiceover? I mean, there's so many careers, you know. But why did you choose voiceover? Why voiceover? So I think we'll start with the ladies first. So Charlene, take it away.
I think
you're
going to do that. So for me, my first love is acting, film, on whether theater, television, being an actress, telling stories. That's always been my first love. So voiceover art then just came naturally. It was one of those things that I was like, oh, wait a minute, for me to be an actor, I need to have a good voice. I need to know how to present myself. And for as long as I could remember, I would watch cartoons and I would watch the behind the scenes. I would want to know how those voices became the beings that I would enjoy every day on TV. So that's what really inspired me, being able to bring stories to life in a way that most people can't, and yet a voiceover artist can, because of the amount of energy that you bring in. So for me, that was the biggest inspiration.
Amazing to hear that. Nadine, I'm also curious to hear yours as well.
Well, thank you so much. Well, honestly, it's not very inspiring. It was just simply it came to me like most of us. Like, you know, somebody hears your voice and they tell you, "Hey, you could probably do voiceovers," and then you chase it, and sometimes it picks you, and sometimes like you can't. I don't know. You pick it and you try and you just hope for the best. So it kind of chose me, and I chose to hold on to it, and I'm very glad I did. Like, it was a rough ride that I loved, and it's really not just part of who I am, it's who I am today. So it was an interesting journey.
Amazing. For me, I've always been that guy who I was telling a few friends that, you know, when I was growing up, I mean, there were opportunities for them to buy me toys, but I wasn't just interested in toys. I was interested in the radio. So, you know, when we had the cassette players, you know, I just put it in and then press record, and and then we just start mimicking ads and podcast, doing podcasts. Then we just, my cousin and I, we just sit at the radio and we're recording, and we're asking ourselves questions, just mimicking those interviewers that we watch. So I mean, for me, I think I would say it started from that side. Okay, so let me ask another question. For this will go to Wakio and Kamiza, right? How would you say your unique, cultural and professional background shaped your approach to the voiceover industry, and of course, and contributing to the African economy in general, right? How would you say your unique cultural, like for example, for me, one of the things that my cultural background, the beauty of the Nigerian tribes, it was one of my inspirations, because anytime I see how colorful we are in terms of our languages and the rest of that, it just inspires me. So I would like to know what exactly was that unique cultural background, or professional background, that shaped your approach to the voiceover industry and contributing to the African economy. So Wakio.
Hello, thank you so much for that nice question. But I want to say, first of all, I started my voiceover industry in the toilet. I think I spent a lot of time in the toilet. As a kid, I used to love how it sounded when you speak in the toilet. So I would take newspapers and go with them in the toilet and read them out loud. And I was so fascinated by the sound that came off. And
Wow.
that was basically my introduction to voice work. Little did I know that it's actually an industry that existed. I didn't know about it until when I stumbled on it in uni in the early 2000s. But to your question, let me not digress. Theodora, I see your comment. Anyway, so what is that unique cultural background? I think for Africans, we are very blessed because all of us really have a storytelling background. I think you grew up, maybe your grandmother telling you stories, or you grew up in drama festivals in your schools, and performances at the end of the school term and things like that. And that was my early introduction into this. So as Charlene said, my first love is obviously performance, and that's acting and directing, and mostly in theater. And that's where actually I feel my contribution is really large in terms of how to be innovative with voiceover and exploring other options for economic progress. I think one of the greatest things that we can invest in anywhere for a societal development is its people. And so I spend a lot of time doing capacity building, sharing my knowledge, transfer of knowledge and skill sets to younger people who are coming after me. I think one of my uniqueness is that I'm also a teacher by profession. I studied English and literature, and that also helps me to be able to craft up curriculums and to be able to craft up lesson plans, and so that I can be able to share this knowledge with those who are coming after me. And I think empowering people and telling them exactly how the industry is. For a long time, people just imagine the audio industry is just a bed of roses. Well, it is a bed of roses, plaster thorns as well. It's quite difficult to navigate in the creative sector. And I think one of the things that we can do as we share our experiences is to be real, that the industry is not as smooth as you might want. It's not as showbiz as it might look. It's hard work. And you might land a gig because you have an awesome voice, but you will not be able to build a lucrative, sustainable business from voiceover just by talent. More is required, and that's where the skill sets come in. And so capacity building programs are one of the things that we need to be exploring more, so that we share the knowledge and holistically, so that people understand that if it's a business, it means that I need to have a business plan. It means that I need to have a business strategy. I need to have objectives, short-term and long-term goals. I need to have a roadmap to achieving these goals. I need to have timelines to achieving these goals. And I need to have someone who's keeping me accountable in achieving these goals. So yes, it is the creative sector. It looks fun and exciting. But if you want to turn this into a lucrative business, then you need to start thinking business-wise. And I don't know about the rest of Africa, but in Kenya, most of us voiceover artists are sole proprietors. We brand ourselves, we sell ourselves, we do all the marketing. It's all on us. And if that's the case, then you need to reinvest in yourself as well. I could throw in a question to our listeners and ask them, like, how much did you earn last year? Do you have a record of that? Because then if you do not have a record of that, how can you plan for the next year? How can you hope to grow the next year? And so it's just shifting our mindsets from looking at it as a fun and exciting thing and look at it as a career. And if it's a career that is taking the business model, then how can you invest in it so that you can grow it year by year by year? And thank you for this conference, because this is actually part of capacity building.
Absolutely. Well said, Wakio. I mean, you touched on some major points there. That I mean, if you just pass the mic to me, I would just go on and just take it away as well, you know. But yes, very, very great points there. And I'm glad that you spoke about your background, the storytelling background. Even in Nigeria, I remember when we were growing up as well, we have things like story. If you were part of that generation, let me know. Once upon a time, daily demand. That's how we used to tell, or we used to listen to stories. All right. So, well, I mean, that's if you were on the backy side of life like me. but let's leave that. Right. So I would like to hear from Kamiza as well. Kamiza, I would like to hear from you. First of all, I mean, I love this. First of all, let me let you know that no homo, bro. You know,
thank you. Thank you so very much. Appreciate that. Yeah, so, I mean, at this juncture, well, I should basically just say what Wakio said. But I think I'll take it from the opposite end of her spectrum. She talked about being a teacher. I was a teacher's pest because I just couldn't stop talking. And I made every single noisemaker's list every single day. The class monitor would write down my name even before I walked into class because he knew it's just a matter of time before this blabbermouth starts to speak. But in hindsight, it's a realization that the uniqueness I was bringing to the table is I love to tell stories. I love to be able to take a story and make that story beautiful. I like to think of it as the unique gift that we are given as voiceover artists is using our voice. We make it a paintbrush and we paint beautiful pictures for people to be able to imagine and visualize and see in their minds. And the tool and the instrument of choice is our voices. But that alone is not enough, as Wakio said. I think what takes us to the next level is when talent meets lots of hard work, there's a whole new dimension that is created. So how do we take this to the next level and make sure that we can compete internationally and also make it impactful for the continent? My take on it is our turnaround times. For me, I've just decided I'm not going to be the guy who tells stories about I'll record it and I'll send it and then start having the client wait on me. My aim is by the end of this year to be able to turn around every single VO that's sent to me, as long as it's not an audio book or a long form voiceover, within an hour. And that's straight from scratch, from receiving the script all the way through to recording, to rough mix, through to mastering, and sending a finished product to the client. So my take on it is until we get to a place where we take ourselves seriously, we will not be taken seriously. You just say, oh, just that voiceover artist. But understanding that this is more than a game, this is more than just being talented, this is an actual business, and treating it as such is the key to unlock the vast and immense potential that exists with the voiceover industry across the continent.
Wow, amazing. I mean, you've hit some very salient points there, because I remember speaking to a very popular a movie director, film director, he's done stuff all over Africa. And I mean, we're having a chat and he was telling me how voiceover talents used to be perceived, in the days of old, let me say days of old, that they just saw them because a lot of them will come to agencies and, like seek for jobs. So they saw them as very, desperate people and the rest of that. And I told him, like, there are a lot of people there are a lot of people changing that narrative now. This is a professional industry. So it's part of the creative economy, right? This is a major part of the creative economy. And I dare say one of the most commercial parts of the creative economy, because everywhere you go, everywhere you look, everywhere you stay, I mean, you hear a voice. You're hearing a voice on radio. You're hearing a voice in a train. You're hearing a voice on your app. You're hearing a voice on your TV. You're hearing a voice. Your voice is everywhere. Speaking to you. There is a message being passed at every point in time. All right. So it's so important. All right, I will go to Kwesi now, right? Kwesi, you correct me if I called your name wrongly, but let me ask you this, right? For somebody who has you have two backgrounds, right? As a British Ghanaian voiceover artist, how will you say you leverage on your diverse background, and expertise to create unique opportunities for yourself and as well other African talents,
Great question. Thank you. So I think what's really enabled me to be successful as both British and Ghanaian is really just leveraging actually the difference, because what people I think underestimate is that the companies that hire us as well are also looking to stand out. So if you're a Ghanaian recording British voiceovers, that stands out for those brands. If you're using a British accent in Ghana, that also stands out for those brands because you sound different from how most other voiceovers sound. So I think really my secret is to play to my strengths and market myself widely. Another thing that I learned quickly when I was starting voiceover is that when you tell people you're a voiceover artist, most people think locally, like what jobs you can get in wherever you are. So me living currently in Ghana, a lot of my Ghanaian friends and people I worked with were like, well, we don't really do voiceovers that much in Ghana, or there's not much of an industry here. But for me, I'm thinking globally, right? I'm thinking like anywhere in the world, could you have a use for an African voiceover or a use for a British voiceover? And I can also do an American accent now as well. So it's really about thinking globally, thinking on a broad scale, and not hiding from what makes you and your voice unique is what I'd say.
Yeah, amazing. This also reminds me of the fact that, I always tell people, concentrate a lot on languages. I mean, if you have accents and languages, it's a plus for you, right? If you can do the American, if you're African, Ghanaian, Nigerian, Kenyan, Zambian, Zimbabwean, right? And you can do the American accent, you can do the British accent. Come on, I mean that's a whole big pot for you. You have many options. If you can speak Yoruba, Hausa, Igbo, Swahili, Zulu, right? It's a plus for you, right? So thank you for that, Kwesi. Now, Nadim, I'm very curious about the Middle East and the voiceover industry there. Would you be able to share with us how it has evolved over the past decade? What opportunities you see? I mean, what opportunities for growth do you see in that region?
Thank you so much for the question. Well, let me start off by again complimenting Kamiza's and Kwesi's voices. Like, I'm just like, what the hell's happening? Like, you guys, amazing. Second, well, the opportunities in the Middle East, like you could probably notice that it's a bit of a different market. The African market / Arabic market, like you can see that line, but somehow we're united by our Africanness. Like it's still Africa, we're still one. And I love that in all the voiceover conferences that I've been to, or all the events that we spoke together, it just felt like we're really just all together, and that's why I see a kind of unity in it that would really benefit all of us, because the beauty is in the diversity. And as my friend Chukwuemeka actually said, like Africa has over like 200 languages or something. It's insane when you think about it. Is that correct, Shobo?
In fact, much more. Yes, over 200 languages. Yeah.
So it's not a matter of the language, rather the story behind the continent. Like you can really, if you look at the history, it's so rich. And as you guys taught me now, like storytelling has been in our heritage and blood, all of us. So yeah, what we do is like really special and different. And the way it evolved in the Middle East was probably the way it evolved in other regions. I'm not going to bore you out with that, but what I would say is I'm very interested to see how the market will evolve into including more of those 200 plus languages and infusing them together in works of telling stories, because I'm sorry, ancient civilizations and stories did not happen like each on their own. They clashed a lot of times. They intersected. I'm actually very interested to see where they intersected, and I want to hear that story, being told by a professional storyteller. Because in a way or two, I bet maybe I don't know, my great 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 grandfather probably just, I don't know, was in Ghana and had his whole life there or something, and then histories, like stories clashed together, and there was a different outcome. So I want to see us evolve in a way where we see the beauty in where we intersect. Maybe that's maybe a dream of mine or something too poetic or whatever, but I believe that we are responsible for weaving how it's going to evolve together. That's why we're in this voiceover conference, or we would be in any other conference, so that we can unite the visions maybe a little bit, because we share our perspectives. We all get to see what the other person is seeing, so it really does widen the picture. And then maybe just enough people will realize, okay, let's walk into this direction. And that's why I'm here, actually. I just really want to hear all the perspectives so I can see. So where are we going, guys? Can you tell me where we're headed?
Right.
So right back to you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Nadim. I would pass the mic now to Charlene. And my question to you will be, as a pioneer in the Zimbabwean voiceover industry, how have you worked to build a thriving community of voiceover artists in your country?
Thank you so much for the question. There's so much that we can do, I believe, individually. And as Nadim said, we are individual storytellers at the end of the day. So for me, it's been about being able to contribute to my country, and that is through different things like accessibility, for example. COVID-19 taught us that so many people needed to hear stories. We had children in the rural areas that couldn't go to school anymore, so they needed to get their lessons in one way or the other. And how did they get them? By getting ebooks. So e-learning is something that definitely is spurred on by being a voiceover artist. So these are some of the things that I feel I can contribute to my country's economy as a voiceover artist, doing things like that, accessibility, also in terms of providing and translating content for those who are visually impaired. Voiceovers will help you with that. We also have commercial voiceovers, which is the one thing that most of us really look at. And that is being able to sell a product, marketing and advertising, and being able to take a particular business's idea to the people and translating it, because so many times we think it's easy for people to understand and know what a particular message contains. But as a voiceover artist, I then step in and I translate that. So let's say, for example, there's a new monetary policy. It's difficult for any person who's walking the street to understand, what does this mean for me? What does this mean for the price of bread in town? Can I still afford bread? As a voiceover artist, I'm going to come in and I'm going to explain those things. I'm going to help the person understand what that means. And that is bringing in what all the hours that I've put in, the years that I've put in learning from amazing people like yourselves, and taking that and bringing it to the public. So for me, that's how I've been helping my country, helping those that are around me, and also mentoring. Being able to just step up. Somebody walks up to you, Charlene, how do you do this? How can I get into this business? I'm a newsreader as well. They'll ask me, how do you do this? It's as simple as, come, I'll teach you. Let me show you how to do these things, because there's no point in gatekeeping at the end of the day. It's about sharing information. It's about growing and teaching. And the other way, that I do this is through film. Like I said, I love acting. I'm a film practitioner, theater practitioner as well, telling stories at the end of the day, regardless of whether I'm on a stage, I'm behind the camera as a director, or I'm in front of it as an actress. As long as I'm telling a story, for me, that is heaven. And as a voiceover artist, these are the ways that I then find a way to be able to export my culture, to export who I am as a Zimbabwean woman and the experiences that I have, making sure that I'm just spreading them out across Africa and hoping that somebody will be able to actually just sit up and listen. Tourism. A voiceover artist is one of the best ways you can describe your country, describe your surroundings, and describe exactly what it is that you are going through and sell your country. So, for example, Zimbabwe is home to one of the 7 wonders of the world, the Victoria Falls. But if somebody were to just show you a picture, you'd just be like, that's just another waterfall. It could be the Niagara Falls. How do we know it is the Victoria Falls in Zimbabwe? It's because a voiceover artist is going to step in, describe that it is the mighty smoke that thunders, Mosio Atunya, and this is how the locals describe the beautiful place, you know? So for me, it's about being able to paint that bright picture, sell my country, and let more eyes look at us and think, hey, I think I should be going to Zimbabwe. I should be bringing more money into Zimbabwe.
Wow, I mean, you just killed it for me. That was
Can I dive in really quickly there? Charlene has gone off and started, the whole jollof rice argument that is...
Exactly. I was going to say...
She went there. She went there. You had to go there. You had to go there.
Because I was given the first platform to speak.
We were doing okay until you went there. But that said, I will have you know, I'm actually sitting in Livingston as we speak. I'm here for work. And I'm looking at Musio Tunya on the Zambian side. So yeah, whatever.
Well, you may have it, we have the view.
Oh, please.
Yes, when you were speaking, I said, maybe I should do a quick a competition, or maybe like a challenge. Let me not call it a competition, a challenge, because we're here together as brothers and sisters. But I was going to say, let's challenge and everybody sell your country to the Voiceover Conference. Because we're on about Victoria Falls, and I'm like, come on,
yeah,
man.
No, that's a quick fix. Not to worry. Happy to do the challenge.
Yeah. All right. So let me keep the questions coming, and maybe if we have time, we could just take a few seconds to sell our countries. Let's just say something about it. But okay, let me go to Wakio and Kamiza. Right. So now, what we've spoken about a lot of things, business, mentoring, and a lot of other things, right? But what unique opportunities do you see for voiceover artists, to contribute to the economic and social development, in Zambia, in Kenya, and the broader African region? What are the unique opportunities? For me, I would say, we have about 17 sustainable development goals. I believe that voices are able to, also pass, the messages of this SDGs, right, to people all over the world. So somewhat those voices are very important in even development itself, right? But I would like to hear from Wakio and Kamiza.
I would think one of the things that we can explore is speaking positively about our continent. I think we have a huge responsibility as voiceover artists to speak truthfully and honestly and authentically about where we come from. And this is in documentaries, in short videos, explainer videos and whatnot. Sometimes our stories are mistold or they're not told correctly. And unfortunately, it's our voices that tell these stories. I think we have a huge responsibility to make sure that we tell the stories that are true and authentic to our countries. And that would mean that in reporting, for instance, Charlene talked about being a newsreader. In reporting, can we be honest? Can we be the stories that are true? Because if we tell stories that are false, it means that we will paint ourselves in a bad picture, and we will stop investment from actually happening in our country. We will be doing a disservice to ourselves. So we have a responsibility to tell stories that are true and authentic to us. So speaking positively is one of the things I think we can explore. Education is an important sector, and even in the rural areas, people have access to radios. I think we have a chance to explore not just ebooks, but we can explore radio dramas. And radio dramas, I think growing up, radio dramas were really adding a lot of value. They were complementary to the education system. And so if we revive this and encourage our children to actually do more of the listening than spending a lot of time just, on socials and social media and whatnot, and not gaining anything useful for their education. So we could explore radio dramas to do more educational stuff, to do more social awareness things, civic education as well, and promote wellness and mindfulness in our region. All these things are important. Why? Because if we are not in a right frame of mind, we're not able to create. We're not able to think creatively in terms of pushing our economy ahead. So if we can work on ways to produce more content that is available to people, not just in the urban areas, but even in the rural setups, that would be a plus for the work that we do with our voices.
Amazing points there. Kamiza, any additions to that?
Yes, what I would add is I think we need to stop looking at ourselves as just contributing a voice towards the developmental agendas of our different countries and, of course, the continent, but actually see ourselves as partners in the developmental agenda. We are producing a story and a voice that is literally giving life to what is happening. So a technocrat will do his job. He will think through what needs to be said with regards to where the continent is supposed to go, where the country is supposed to go. Our understanding should be, but this is mumbo jumbo to the man on the street. What am I contributing, and how does my partnership come in? And I think once we change our perception of who we are in the whole scheme of things, we realize that we're bigger players than we give ourselves credit for. It's not just a voiceover. And if it was just a voiceover, anybody could do it. There's a reason we are getting paid to do the job. There's a reason that we are entrusted with brands and entrusted with literally countries to be able to go off and speak that story and speak it succinctly and articulately, to be able to tell that story to a point that it compels a person to act upon it. And so my take on it is, until we begin to view ourselves as absolute partners, essential cogs in the big machine that is moving the country and the continent forward, we'll never really be seen as who we're supposed to be, and we'll never be able to reach the level of prowess that we're supposed to. So my take is, we really just have to view ourselves as the giants that we are, and we are an essential part of the storytelling agenda. And by so doing, we are making things work.
Absolutely. Wow. For me, that was so, my God. I don't know. I don't know if I want to take it from there, but you said something very key. You talked about being partners, right? And I always emphasize the professionalism, right? You must be, because if you see yourself as a partner, you don't treat yourself as a slave. You're not a slave. You are a partner in this, in the ecosystem, in the creative ecosystem. So don't see yourself less, right? And if you don't see yourself less, you will invest in yourself, right? You will invest in your craft, all right? So as much as possible, what Kamiza said, it's very important. See yourself as a partner and actually treat yourself as a partner, right? In this, as the industry goes. So I'll take one of my last questions now, which will be to Kwesi. Now, I know that somebody spoke about drama. I think it was Charlene who spoke about, being a theater artist and the rest of that. And I know that you are very big on drama coaching as well. What role do you believe speed and drama coaching play in enhancing the skills or marketability of voice-over talents in Africa?
Thank you for the question. So I was a theater kid. I was homeschooled. So my parents signed me up for all sorts of extracurricular activities, which had a lot of drama, singing, dancing, that kind of thing. So even from a young age, I got to learn how important acting and performance is to what it is that we do. And then when I went to university, I studied law. And again, I found how important advocacy is. And similarly, it requires a lot of speech skills. It requires a degree of performance. It's not lying per se, but you do have to really emphasize certain things or speak a bit slower about certain things to kind of make the case a story. So I think drama, acting skills, speech skills, all these things are extremely important to what it is that we do. I think that being able to take something that just seems like plain text and infuse a certain emotion or sound or to get your audience to feel something is really the magic trick that we voice actors do. And I think that also, similar to what Kamiza and Wakio were saying, is that we should also start to see ourselves as content creators, because traditionally, as voice actors, we kind of need to wait for somebody to give us a job, right? But the nature of what we do and infusing certain energies and emotions into texts and scripts uniquely positions us to create as opposed to just work for somebody. So I do, to answer your question, I think that drama skills and speech training and all these things are incredibly integral to what we do and will enable us to take that next step, as Nadim was looking for, as voice actors. I think that next step is to start creating for ourselves and for the world our unique stories.
Awesome. You said something very important.
Shobo, if you allow me to just add that. Shobo, could you please allow me to add something on what Kwesi has just said? I think most of the time we think of voiceover industry as a separate industry in the creative economy. But all these industries, the theater, the film, they all come together and they merge. And I think we have an opportunity to actually explore these collaborations in creating new revenue streams, new opportunities for voiceover artists. Voiceover artists don't just have to be recording IVRs, TV commercials, ebooks, and audiobooks and things like that. We have an opportunity for them to come back on stage. And we've been doing that through different programs here in Kenya. And we've been introducing voiceover in theater performances. And it's working extremely well in two ways, in two fronts. One, it reduces the time for rehearsal. So we're trying to be efficient in terms of how we are putting out our productions. If you have voiceovers, it means they don't have to go through getting all their lines. They just have to go into a booth and record them with the same intensity and emotions that we want to evoke. And another thing is that we can be able to tour these performances, because these performances can be translated and voiced by artists in Yoruba and bring it to Nigeria. Artists speaking Buganda and take it to Uganda. And so one production can actually make more for a production house by touring it all over Africa and engaging with other voiceover artists from different parts of the world by doing translations. And see, these are opportunities that we are providing for them, for the market. We are providing translation opportunities. We are providing new voicing opportunities. We are providing cultural exchanges, even for our writers. They're going to be developing their skill sets because of cultural exchanges. So we can do more with our voices, and we need to start thinking innovatively. How can we increase our revenue streams? Do we still stay on the traditional revenue streams available for us? Or how do we now get on with the times and think of creative ways in which you can actually increase the revenue streams available to us and increase our market as well, even with theater, even with film? And I think that's an opportunity that has not really been exploited maximally.
Very well said, Wakio. I always say, and I always teach, that right now as we speak, when you're talking about the economy, the voice economy, there's the traditional voice economy where you have the radio, TV, and the rest of that. And there's the creator economy which there is a panel for at the Voiceover Conference. I believe that is tomorrow. So you're going to hear more about the creator economy, right? That is just, they're both sub-economies under the voice economy. So right now, the creator economy is booming, The traditional voice economy will always be there, is there, and will always be there. But the creator economy has come to even add more revenue to what you are earning as a voiceover talent. So don't just sit down and say, oh, I just want to be a traditional voice talent for the rest of my life. I mean, there are opportunities now. Like she said, voiceover for theater, that's big as well. So many things are happening. Look, guys, wake up. We need to wake up. All right, at this point in time, I believe that we have come to the end of this panel. We have so many things to do today at the Voiceover Conference. So I just want to say thank you to all the panelists. Please let us know how we can follow you online. Wakio, from Wakio to Nadim, to Charlene, to Kwesi, to Kamiza. Please just tell us where we can follow you, where we can find you, where we can follow you very quickly in just 10 seconds, right? Let's go. Wakio. Wakio, where can we find you?
Wakio Mzenge everywhere.
Wakio Mzenge everywhere. Facebook, Twitter, TikTok. Are you on TikTok?
Yes.
All right, amazing. Okay, Nadim.
You trapped me there. I am Nadim Khaled everywhere. I was just going to post a link here for LinkedIn and yeah, caught me off guard.
Awesome. Charlene.
I'm Magwueni-Furusa everywhere. TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, everywhere, except for Snapchat.
All right. Make sure you are following them right now. Don't procrastinate. Just follow them as they're speaking now. Kwesi.
I'm Kwesi Busia everywhere, but if you go to kwesibusia.com, it's got links to all my socials directly there.
All right, let's go. All right, Kamiza. We can hear you, Kamiza. Your audio.
There we go. Kamiza V Chikula on Facebook and Kamiza Chikula everywhere else.
All right, amazing. All right, you can follow me also at Seun Shobo on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and then if you want to send me a mail, you can go to thebrandmaster.me. All right, thebrandmaster.me. Ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end. I'm your spontaneous host. Seun Shobo.
Great job. You did a great job.
Good job, Shobo.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I think I tried. And I want to say great job, King E. Great job, the Voiceover Conference. This is an amazing platform for people to really express themselves and for people to learn as well. All right. Thank you for giving us all the opportunity to grace this panel. Ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of this panel. I hope you got something. I hope you learned something. I hope you wrote some things down. I hope you jotted some things down. And I will see you sometime around. All right? Take care. Bye.